Listen closely because Celtic are right in the middle of a storm, and I've got three massive stories you cannot ignore. First, the 5 catastrophic mistakes the board got wrong in 2025 and why the anger around Parkhead has exploded. Then, a huge call on Calmac's future and why Peter Grant says only one man on this planet should decide it. And finally, the big one. The striker Celtic should be throwing everything at to change the season completely. Stay right here. Watch until the very end. We bring you daily news to keep you right up to date with the mighty Celtic. Hit subscribe and join in. You've lived through frustration before, but what you've watched unfold in 2025 feels different. This isn't a bad run of form or a couple of dodgy refereeing calls. This is the Celtic board losing the plot in real time, and you felt it in your gut every week you walk towards Parkhead. Pressure like this hasn't wrapped itself around the club since the grim 90s, and that alone tells you how badly things have been handled. It all started and kept growing with transfer chaos, selling Kyogo Furuhashi and Nicholas Kuhn without replacing them properly wasn't just a gamble, it was arrogance. You were left watching Champions League exits and 2 major cup finals slip away, knowing fine well the squad was weaker than before. A summer window that ended with Kelechi Iheanacho arriving on a free after the deadline summed it up. Panic instead of planning. Signings like Hayato Inamura, Shin Yamada, and Simpson Pusey came in without fitting any clear vision, leaving both Brendan Rodgers and Wilfried Nancy hamstrung. While them from Govan celebrated our missteps, the board sat on their hands. Then came Dermot Desmond's public attack on Rodgers, a shareholder using the club's own website to brand a former manager divisive and self-serving was jaw-dropping. You don't air personal grudges like that at Celtic. It was small, petty, and embarrassing, and the silence from Nicholson and Lawwell made it worse. Leadership vanished when it was needed most. The hostility towards you, the supporter, has been just as damaging. Ross Desmond's comments lit a fire that hasn't gone out. The blanket ban on the Green Brigade, the vague footage, the lack of due process, all of it felt like punishment without justice. And banning Celtic fan media from press conferences, that told you everything about how far removed the boardroom has become from the soul of this club. Wilfried Nancy's arrival should have been a fresh chapter. Instead, delays left Martin O'Neill holding the fort with no clarity, and Nancy walked into fixtures against Hearts, Roma, and St Mirren undercooked and exposed. His unveiling alone, without a single board member beside him, was an insult dressed up as professionalism. And then there was the AGM, a shambles. Peter Lawwell sneering, cutting it short, ducking questions. Chairman closing ranks instead of facing the truth. As he exits, his legacy is no longer just trophies, it's anger, division, and a support pushed to the streets while rivals laugh from across the city. So here's the question you need to answer honestly. Has the Celtic board broken trust beyond repair in 2025? Or can real change still be forced from the pressure you and others have applied? Hit that subscribe button, lads. Let's G it lordy till we hit 1,500 mad Celtic dafts. You hear the rumors and straight away your stomach tightens because this one cuts right to the bone of Celtic. Brendan Rodgers circling again, this time from Saudi Arabia, trying once more to prize Calmac away. He tried it at Leicester. He's trying it again at Al-Qadsiya, and even the idea of it feels wrong. A Celtic without Calmac isn't just a squad issue, it's an identity crisis. Peter Grant has stepped in with the only take that really makes sense. There should be no boardroom whispers, no manager maneuvering, no outside pressure. This decision belongs to one man and one man only. Calmac himself, 32 years old, Mr. Celtic, one of the most decorated figures this club has ever produced. If anyone has earned the right to choose his own path, it's him. Grant nailed it when he spoke about players reaching that stage in their career where they decide what fulfills them. Not contracts, not noise, fulfillment. Calmac has given everything to this club: titles, cup finals, European nights, leadership in the hardest moments. If he wants a new challenge, that's his call. But if he wants one more title run in green and white, one more season driving this team forward, while them from govern chase shadows, that should be respected too. And here's the real issue that sits beneath all this. If Calmac stays, Celtic have to help him. Right now, he's being asked to do too much of everything. He can go box to box, no question, but what this side is crying out for is someone alongside him who relishes the ugly side of the game, winning the ball deep, snapping into tackles, doing the unseen work so Calmac can breathe and dictate again. Give him that platform and you restore balance. You let the attacking midfielders flourish while Calmac pulls the strings instead of constantly firefighting. That's how you protect the captain. That's how you show him he's valued, not just admired. Rodgers can admire from afar all he likes. Saudi money can wave in the distance, but this club was built on loyalty, on captains who understood what the armband meant. Calmac is one of those. You don't push him out, you don't sell him short, you ask him what he wants, and you build around that. So here's the question that will divide opinion fast. Should Celtic move heaven and earth to keep Calmac as the heart of this team, or is the club risking everything by letting sentiment outweigh planning for life after its greatest modern captain? Hit that subscribe button. Lads, let's G it lowly till we hit 1500 mad and Celtic dafts. You watched Evan Ferguson that night and you know exactly what your eyes told you, because he gave the Celtic defense a proper lesson. Too sharp, too strong, too decisive. And now the talk is that Celtic have been offered the chance to bring him in on loan, with his Roma spell wobbling and Brighton ready to listen. If that door is even slightly open, Celtic should be battering it down. He's only 21, yet already carries himself like a seasoned number 9. Yes, it's been a frustrating time. In Italy, 1 Serie A goal, heavy competition, Dobbik and Dybala ahead of him, minutes hard to come by. That happens. Rome chews players up if you don't fit immediately, but don't let those numbers fool you, because when Ferguson came up against Celtic in Europe, he showed you exactly what he's about. 2 goals from just 0.8, 1 expected goals. That's not luck, that's instinct. That's a striker who smells blood and finishes chances that others overthink. Liam Scales found out the hard way that night, and you could see defenders backing off, worried about his movement and power. He didn't need many touches, he didn't need rhythm, he needed half a chance. Look at his Premier League record before the loans. 13 goals from just over 10 expected goals for Brighton. Again, clinical, efficient, the kind of striker who turns pressure into goals. He's been called absolutely mustard by scouts who know what they're watching, and it shows. This is not a project player learning the basics. This is a forward who knows where the net is. And now think about Celtic right now. Chances being created, balls flashing across the box, pressure building, and then waste. Too much waste, too many missed moments. Ferguson thrives on exactly that environment. He attacks space, finishes early, and doesn't need 10 looks at goal. If Wilfried Nancy wants attacking bravery backed up by goals, this is the profile. Bring him in on loan and suddenly the dynamic changes. Keep Iheanacho fit, add Ferguson's edge, and suddenly Kenny finds himself exactly where performances have put him this season. Watching, that's not harsh, that's football. While them from Govan scrape around for answers, Celtic could be adding a striker who already proved he can hurt us and turn that pain into points. So here's the question that will spark a proper argument. Should Celtic move fast and gamble on Evan Ferguson's hunger and quality, or is trusting him ahead of current options too ruthless for a club trying to rebuild confidence? Hit that subscribe button. Lads, let's G it, lady, till we hit 1500 mad Celtic dafts.